There's a woman in Texas walking around right now with a baby that died inside her 2 weeks ago. She's going to risk sepsis at some point, and the state of Texas is forcing her to keep it there. Every single doctor who's looked at her agrees that the pregnancy's over. Her body's the only thing in this story that hasn't got the memo yet. And instead of Texas helping her, Texas is making her pay out of her own pocket to drive back into that office, sit on that table, and stare at a screen that confirms what she already knew when she walked in. There is no baby. The baby is not alive. And she filmed it.
With me to see my dead baby to make sure it's really dead. No, you did not hear me wrong. I really said that because my baby died in me almost 2 weeks ago, but we have to make sure it's really dead 2 more times before they'll help me remove it because my body's not doing that by itself. Thinking, well, that sounds wrong. You would be right. Law says I have to have 2 more scans before they'll help me remove it.
Having to come in and do my blood pressure and all of the prenatal paperwork knowing there's no baby is extra traumatizing, and then paying a $50 copay to be here to see no baby again.
Ultrasound looks the same.
That's right. Still no baby.
Still no baby. List all prior pregnancy outcomes beginning with the most recent because there's only 6 lines and I've been pregnant 9 times.
This has all been an extremely traumatizing day. They did the scan, had an ultrasound discrepancy with the hospital's scan. The ER said they didn't see a yolk sac. This ultrasound says that they do see a yolk sac, even though there's been no development. My HCG is going down and there is 0 room for dating error because when I had my first positive blood draw, they are still making me stay pregnant and feel pregnant knowing it's not viable. And when I say they know it's not viable, every doctor has told me it's not a viable pregnancy, but this is what they have to do.
So I need you to understand something the video didn't have time to tell you because it changes everything about what you just watched. That woman is the lucky one. She's alive. She gets to be angry on camera. And the reason she's being put through this medieval ritual of proving her baby is dead over and over and over isn't medical. It's legal. So before Texas passed its AB ban, a doctor diagnosed a lost pregnancy the way doctors have for decades. Your symptoms, your blood work, your hormone levels, and the ultrasound all together. This woman had every one of those boxes checked. Her hormone levels were dropping. Her body was already shutting the pregnancy down. There was, in her words, 0 room for a dating error. But after the ban, that's not enough anymore. Because if a doctor in Texas helps end a pregnancy and a prosecutor later decides that it wasn't dead enough, that doctor's looking at up to 99 years in prison and the end of their entire career. So doctors started doing something pregnancy loss experts are really horrified by. They stopped trusting the blood work, they stopped trusting the symptoms, and now they wait for the ultrasound images alone to meet a strict radiology checklist. The kind of legal paper trail you'd build for a courtroom, not a patient. And meeting that checklist can take weeks, days. It can take a woman driving back in paying her $50 copay to generate one more piece of evidence that protects the doctor, not her. She's not getting scanned 3 times for her health. She's getting scanned 3 times to build the doctor's alibi. And here's where this stops being one woman's bad day and becomes a body count. Because after Texas banned AB care, maternal deaths in this state jumped 56% in 3 years. The national rise over that same stretch, 11%. Do I need to repeat that? 11%. For white women in Texas, the death rate nearly doubled. Black women in Texas are now 2.5 times more likely to die than white women. And ProPublica bought 7 years of Texas hospital records and found the sepsis rate during the 2nd trimester pregnancy loss shot up more than 50% after the ban. Because women were being sent home to get sicker until they were legally sick enough to treat. Y'all are really sick. Portia Numetzi was 11 weeks along when she started bleeding. The standard care would have cleared her uterus and stopped it. Instead, she was monitored. She bled to death. Nevaeh Crane was a pregnant teenager who went to the ER over and over begging for help. And she was sent away and it was too late. She also passed. This April, the Texas Medical Board finally sanctioned 3 doctors over deaths exactly like these. And the punishment? extra training classes. So let me tell you who actually dies under this law, because Texas wants you picturing someone careless, reckless, or debaucherous. Someone who didn't want to be pregnant in the first place. That's who they want you to picture. But picture Portia instead. 35 years old, already a mom, 2 little boys at home, and on the worst day of her life, she just kept telling the nurses she wanted to get back to see her sons. She was 11 weeks pregnant and miscarrying, bleeding through clots the size of grapefruits. And the 10-minute procedure that would have stopped it sat behind a wall of legal fear that no doctor on that floor was willing to climb. So they handed her a pill instead, and she bled until her heart stopped. 2 little boys went to bed that night with a mother and woke up the next morning without one. That's who this law unalives. Not strangers to motherhood, mothers. Women who painted nurseries, women who'd been pregnant 9 times because they wanted a baby that badly, like the woman that you just watched, driving back to that office again and again because Texas decided that her grief had to come with a receipt. And Texas has the nerve to call this protecting babies. So look at what it actually built. Every single one of these pregnancies was already gone before the law ever touched it. The ban did not save those babies. There was nothing left to save. All it did was reach past the baby that was already lost and take the mother too. A law that swears up and down it's about life is out here manufacturing motherless children. The car seat in the back is now empty. The bedtime story doesn't get read now. The husband cries himself to sleep at night. That is the actual product of this policy, not saved babies, orphaned ones. And once the bodies started stacking up, watch what the state did with them. Texas has an official committee whose entire reason to exist is to review every woman who dies in pregnancy and figure out what went wrong. Well, they got to 2022 and 2023, the first 2 years of the ban, the deadliest years for mothers this state has ever recorded, and they decided to skip them. Just skip them. Jump straight to 2024 and call it a more contemporary view. The same state that started the fire put itself in charge of counting the dead and then refused to count them. Because the number has names, and the names have children, and those kids are going to grow up knowing that a law took their mom. And the state of Texas couldn't even be bothered to write her name down. So the next time someone swears to you this is about protecting children, picture Portia's 2 boys looking for their mom. Picture the woman in this video paying $50 to sit in the room to confirm again that her baby's gone and go through more trauma. They didn't protect a single one of these babies. They just made sure the mothers wouldn't make it out either.